a truly dreadful game of football on Sunday night between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cowboys. And I like a defensive game. I like an attritional game. I don't mind low scoring, and I never have. This was a tough watch, particularly when you consider that the Cowboys, and Dak only went out with 4 minutes remaining in the game, and arguably went out when they had no timeouts, when they were down 16 points and really didn't have an opportunity to go and win, and they kept playing him. Could be a problem in itself that they did that. But the first drive, I think they went 14 plays, about 55, 60 odd yards, and got a field goal. And then they just didn't move the ball beyond that. One more first down in the first half. The Bucs defense looked fantastic. The Cowboys offensive line looked anything but. Their lack of bringing in a second receiver looks like it could be really costly for them behind CeeDee Lamb, who had a couple of nice plays. But yeah, it was as tough an opening game for the Cowboys as it could have possibly been. And next week they get the Bengals coming off a bit of a whooping in week one. They're going to want to prove themselves, and they're going to get to do it most likely against a backup quarterback. I don't think it gets much easier for them next week.
Has Dak Prescott been Mike McCarthy'd? Is that what we're saying? I think it might have happened because it took 6 or 7 or 8 years in Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers to be Mike McCarthy'd, and maybe Dak Prescott has been Mike McCarthy'd. All right, he's now injured. But I lasted about a quarter of this game because, as you said, it was an attritional one, not even one for the purists. It's one for the Bucs fans because they're the only ones that could have enjoyed any part of that game whatsoever. And CeeDee Lamb, in a fantasy draft, I accidentally drafted him third, or maybe even second. I don't know because I was an auto draft. It was my birthday. I was having a lovely meal with the Chica. And I ended up drafting CeeDee Lamb. He took 2 of 11 catches last night. I mean, it's just woeful, the whole thing. So the Cowboys, I wondered, do they need a new quarterback more, or do they need Sean Payton more, a new head coach? They are shoddy beyond belief.
Dak was poor before the injury. And the lack of second option, CeeDee Lamb was blanketed a lot. I actually thought Dalton Schultz had a half-decent game. We saw a mix of the running game, unsurprisingly. But this was a game where, for the most part, defenses shine. I thought Devin White, Anton Winfield, Shaq Barrett all were brilliant for the Bucs last night. Micah Parsons himself had a decent game. And actually in the first half, Tampa Bay were moving the ball, but were restricted to 4 field goals and a missed field goal in the first half on the 5 drives where they actually managed to move the ball at all. So, it wasn't like the Cowboys defense played badly at all, managing to restrict Tom Brady's just the 1 touchdown in the second half as well. But yeah, that matchup, it looked like men against boys on the other side of the ball. And if I'm a Cowboys fan right now, I'm concerned.
I think this is what happens when you have your owner as a GM, right? I mean, they look slow and old on offense. And I didn't understand. They started running the ball pretty well with Ezekiel Elliott, and the line looked pretty good. The rookie left tackle, Tyler Smith, there was a couple of plays where he was driving guys 6-7 yards down the field and pancaking them in the run game, mixing a bit of Tony Pollard. And then they started double reverses and CeeDee Lamb flipping the ball to Tony Pollard as he was about to be tackled and losing big yards. And I was just like, what are you doing? And if they are committed to getting rid of, the guys that they lost in, whether they're trading Amari Cooper or whatever, the expectation is that CeeDee Lamb then has to step up and fulfill that role as a number one. And he summarily failed to do it yesterday. I know James Washington is injured. I know Michael Gallup is injured, and things will change when they come back. But, rolling with Noah Brown and the undrafted rookie whose name completely escaped, Dennis Houston, just wasn't good enough. Schultz is fine, but he's a really good complementary piece when that offense is really going. But you're almost having to he was almost like the first option for Dak. The spacing on offense wasn't great at all. I thought the play calling was really poor. They tried a couple of times to get manufactured touches to Turpin and didn't really work. And I think the biggest problem for the Cowboys is the Sean Payton is the sword of Damocles that is sort of hanging over the head of Mike McCarthy, because this team isn't going anywhere. And I think the injury to Prescott essentially, and I can't work out whether or not the injury to Prescott makes McCarthy sacking inevitable or even more quickly inevitable, or whether or not it almost gives him some respite in that, you're going in with Cooper Rush for 6 to 8 weeks. And therefore, if you end up 2-6, then that's going to be okay because you've had to do it without Dak Prescott. But I just think when Sean Payton's out there, what he could do for that team, what he could do for that offense, they just need speed. They need some talent, and they've just, even on the offensive line, you go back a few years and you look at Travis Frederick and Zach Martin and the Tyron Smith and those guys, and it's a shell team. It really is a shell team, and they're kind of hanging on by 3 or 4 young players who have got some upside, led by Micah Parsons, who's essentially the best player on that team by a country mile already. I could see the Cowboys really struggling to win 6 games this year, and I think Mike McCarthy will be sacked, and probably deservedly so.